RedLynx's Trials Fusion is no longer just an Xbox 360 Live Arcade exclusive, as it made the leap into the next generation and is also available on the PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox 360. But the question is, does it hold up as a quality successor to the Trials series, and does it hold up well as a next generation downloadable title? Watch my review and find out. As soon as you launch the game, you're greeted by an epic yet cheesy song. As you enter the main menu, you'll notice that the interface is way different from your previous Trials games, as there's a mailbox that lets you know what you unlocked, what friend beat your lap times, and news from the developers. There's also detailed leaderboards in which you could compare your game progress, medals, and times along with any player or friend you choose. The interface is very smooth and fast loading. The graphics in Trials Fusion aren't groundbreaking, but definitely are pretty, as the tracks and backgrounds are very detailed and the game runs at a smooth 60 frames per second. The sound quality is what you expect from a Trials game, with revving engines, wheels hitting the ground, riders screaming while airborne, and the game's futuristic soundtrack. Trials Fusion also features a leveling system not seen in its predecessors. Winning medals and clearing tracks will gain you experience points that will level you up. But what does ranking up in a Trials game do for you? Leveling up unlocks new bikes, including parts and wheels, and outfits including helmets, shirts, and pants. You can also change the color of your bikes, wheels, and outfits to give your rider a unique look. There is also unlocks that tie into RedLynx's iOS and Android mobile game, Trials Frontier, in which by completing the same track on both Frontier and Fusion will unlock you some exclusive outfits. Also linking your Ubisoft Uplay account will give you extra unlocks, such as a giant squirrel head. Like Trials games before this, Trials Fusion makes great use of physics, as when you're in the air you would need to make a perfect landing on both wheels, or you're going to land too much on the front wheel and fall over, or land the back wheel and fall on your back. There's going to be obstacles where you're going to need to get creative and pull a bunny hop to clear a tricky uphill jump. The ragdoll physics are top-notch and work really well on some challenging tracks. Tracks are well designed and are filled with all kinds of obstacles, ramps, and traps that will put your riding skills to the ultimate test and leave a big smile on your face when you reach the finish line. There are even tracks that pay homage to classic sci-fi movies, like one particular track that's straight out of Cloud City from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and another track that is inspired by Tron. There are challenge tracks like Big Air, where you would have to bail out of your bike and try to fly the longest distance possible. Then there is No Lean, where you have to get from start to finish without leaning your bike. Then there is Daredevil, where you have to get from start to finish, but you have to perform tricks to earn points. Then there is Triathlon, where you have to do a long jump, a high jump, and ride a wavy ramp using bunny hop to complete the challenge. And then there is Trickmaster, in which you have to perform every bike trick that a screen orders you to do, keep advancing to the most points before you fail. Then there's also challenges on every track that you can complete to earn extra cash. There is also an addition of ATVs in Trials Fusion. You can now race with 4 wheels, which is something that was never included in previous Trials games, and even though they are not as agile as the bikes, they hold their own due to their speed. Talk about the difficulty of Trials Fusion. During the easy tracks, you'll blaze right through them. During medium, you'll have a bit of a challenge, but nonetheless, finishing a medium track can in most cases be done in a single try. When we get to hard and extreme, this game will whoop your ass. You're going to face tracks that will literally make you cry and test your patience on the insane jumps and obstacles you're going to have to make, and in most cases you might even have to just settle for a bronze medal to move on, or spend your whole night on one of these tracks. But when you do manage to get the gold or even platinum, you'll feel like you're on top of the world. In Trials Fusion, especially on the hard and extreme tracks, you will crash a lot. Although this may get frustrating, but during those crashes, you cannot help yourself but laugh at all the fails you're going to have with the game's physics. The track editor of Trials Fusion is very deep, which gives you a huge sandbox-like world, which includes a map on the corner of the screen and sections of the map you can work with. There are tons of editing options such as start points, checkpoints, finish points, changeable track lines to make creative use of the environment, and a huge assortment of ramps, blocks, traps, and 3D lettering to add to make track of your desires. Then there is also the ability to save, share, and download other friends' tracks to give you a Little Big Planet-like experience when it comes to playing and sharing tracks. As much as the track editor of Trials Fusion is deep, it is complex. Very complex, as there are so many options to work with, yet there is no tutorial at all, except for just a link to RedLynx's YouTube channel, which includes all the video tutorials for the track editor. Also, the controls for the track editor are very clunky and confusing, and the camera controls are cumbersome, which to have a good camera controls for an editor like this would make life easier since you're trying to line up blocks and ramps to correspond with your track. The controls are very simple as there's only gas, brake, lean, bail, and tricks. Yes, new to the Trial series is the ability to do awesome aerial tricks by simply holding the right stick in a certain direction, such as holding left on the right stick does a trick called the Superman. Holding right on the right stick does a trick called the Coffin. Depending on how your bike is positioned and what direction you're holding, the right stick will do a different trick. You can also use the lean ability to add some epic spins to your tracks with some jaw-dropping moves, but be careful because if your landing isn't right, you are going to be eating dirt. Although the controls are simplistic, you'll need to take account of the physics such as leaning forward to climb up steep hills, leaning back then forward to make a tough jump, and implementing throttle control so you get the right momentum to clear a ramp or don't overshoot a small platform. The multiplayer of Trials Fusion goes up to a max of 4 players and features the ability to select an assortment of tracks to make the playlist for a racing series that awards players with leaderboard points for what they placed and how many times they have crashed. Crashing will give the players negative points, so players in making second every race could actually beat a first place player due to taking less crashes. Then there's also the ability to set heats, for example, every track in the series twice before advancing to the next track. Then there is a decent number of tracks which are available to select from, but hopefully in the future there will be more tracks from DLC or using your custom tracks built from the editor to be included. Unfortunately, Trials Fusion multiplayer at the time of making this review is local only and does not include online multiplayer, but will include online multiplayer months after launch. According to game developer RedLynx found that fans didn't really dig that, so it took it out. But that hasn't finished the new mode as it came up with to replace it. Trials Fusion will support a type of online multiplayer experience as, based on the metrics of Trials Evolution, RedLynx saw that online multiplayer wasn't a popular feature among players. A Ubisoft spokesperson told GameBeat, so instead of bringing back the same feature, the team decided to take the time to create a new, more robust online multiplayer experience that will be released as a free game update in the months after launch. This is upsetting due to the fact that as good as the game Trials Fusion is, at the moment you cannot play head-to-head against friends, and for those looking for a multiplayer downloadable game, will have to look elsewhere. Trials Fusion sells for $20 and also sells the Season Pass, including new tracks and bikes up to May 2015 for an additional $20, making the prices of the game, including the Season Pass, $40. This goes way above what the prior Trials games have sold for, which was 1,200 Microsoft points, which is the equivalent to $15. This game does sell at the same price as Minecraft, and the Season Pass itself sells for nearly the same price as Titanfall, which its Season Pass is $25. BioShock Infinite, which its Season Pass is also $20. Also to note that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare sells for $30. Is Trials Fusion worth the price? For the game itself, most definitely, but the Season Pass I feel is too overpriced since as much as fun as Trials Fusion is, is the Season Pass that should be on the same level as AAA titles, but that's in my opinion. Trials Fusion is a game that will take hours from your life. With its uniquely designed yet challenging tracks, awesome presentation, loads of unlocks and customization options, track editor, social leaderboards, leveling system, and additions such as right trick stick and ATVs makes Trials Fusion a worthy addition to digital games library. But what keeps this game from achieving true perfection is its higher than status quo price, lack of online multiplayer, in-game tutorial-free track editor, and an insane difficulty on hard and extreme may turn off quite a few potential players. If you don't mind the lack of real-time online competition, watching a few video tutorials to master the track editor, and are looking for a genuine challenge, take a trip to your Xbox Marketplace or PlayStation Store and hit that download button. Trials Fusion for the Xbox One gets 4 controllers out of 5. It's CraneStyle. Remember to like, comment, subscribe my channel, and good game.